Hi, and welcome back to my Biblical History series. Today, we're going to talk about possibly one of the most important things that's going to happen in the entire Old Testament. It is going to shock the foundations of society, and God is going to use it not only let the children of Israel know who He is, but everyone else is going to know who He is too, for a great long time. And we're talking about the 10 plagues on Egypt. Now, here's how it works. Everybody knew about the gods of Egypt. They were the best. Nobody's gods were as good as theirs. The Nile flooded regularly every year. Now in Mesopotamia, their gods would flood people and massacre them. They were capricious. They demanded human sacrifice. Oh, there was just no comparison. Everybody knew it. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. The Egyptian gods are the A-class gods. So if you're going to T-pose on a set of gods, they were the guys to T-pose on. And Yahweh is going to prove His superiority to them in every single way. Now, if there was one thing that had gods ruling over it, it was the Nile. There are cow-headed guardians of the Nile. There's Heket, who is responsible for the flooding of the Nile regularly, and oftentimes depicted with a frog head. And then Hapi is another god of the Nile, which is also oftentimes depicted as a frog. What's the second plague? Oh, that's right, frogs everywhere. Yahweh turns the Nile into blood, and then after He gets done demonstrating His power over the frogs, He moves on to Geb. Geb and Nut are the two progenitor gods. They're the earth and the sky, and they get together and they have the other gods as their babies and that kind of thing. So Geb is a big deal. Well, Yahweh is going to turn His flesh into gnats or into lice. And after that, He's going to move on to Watchet, the goddess of the marsh. And she controls a swarm of flies. And these are not regular house flies that come in and maybe are a little gross by landing on your potato salad. Instead, these are biting flies and they eat you alive. And so Yahweh brings the biting flies in. And here is where things are going to start getting really interesting, because He is going to have them bite the Egyptians and their livestock, but He's going to leave the Hebrews alone, so that there is no mistaking the fact that their God is acting on their behalf, and this is not just misfortune or calamity. There can be no question God is involved, a real God, a fearsome God. Bulls are a big deal in Egypt. There are a lot of regional gods. That's how most of these false gods develop, as they become the god of a city, and then when they unite politically with other people, then those gods kind of spread around a little bit, maybe sometimes combining with other gods. Well, there are plenty of different bull gods in Egypt. The Apis bull is a prime example. And so God is going to judge these bull gods by killing the bulls of the Egyptians. Healing gods are also very important in Egypt. Sekhmet is the goddess of war and oddly of healing. She's represented by an Ankh. And also Imhotep. You remember Imhotep? He's been deified also as a healer god. And so it is a judgment on them that God is going to inflict unhealable boils onto the people of Egypt. And their gods are not going to be able to heal them or to protect them in any way. Now, one thing that the Egyptians don't lack is sky gods. Remember Geb? He's got a wife named Nut. She's the mother of all of the gods, and she's a sky goddess. There's also Osiris and Seth, who are associated with the sky. And so they should be in control and make sure that you couldn't rain down flaming hail on the people of Egypt. But maybe it's a little unfair to expect them to be able to stop it. I mean, who expects hail in Egypt? That sort of thing's never been seen before. Now, perhaps it would have been more impressive if Yahweh had done that to, say, some Inuit gods or maybe some Norse gods or something, who are more used to hail. That's a little bit of a sneak attack, if you ask me. Either way, they're proven to be powerless over the sky. Perhaps it would be more fair. You know, Osiris and Seth are more agricultural gods, really, than sky gods. So they'd be able to deal with a more common threat, right? Like perhaps locusts that come in and eat all of the crops. Well, unfortunately, they're unable to deal with the locusts that come in and eat the crops, and Egypt is devastated once again. Well, why doesn't this Yahweh try taking on the real gods of Egypt? Their most powerful chief gods, Amun, Ra, and Aten. These are the sun gods. These are their greatest and most powerful gods. And yet, Yahweh puts out the sun and brings darkness on only the land of Egypt. And so the light only shines on the people of Israel in the land of Goshen where they live. What utter humiliation. What utter defeat for the gods of Egypt. They are shown to be absolutely powerless in the face of this Yahweh. What more is to take place? What more could take place? Well, what would happen if Yahweh was to kill one of their gods? To actually put him to death? Pharaoh has been unable to maintain Mot. The entire kingdom is in utter disarray. And now the son of Pharaoh is also a god. And so, because he will not let the people go, Yahweh sends the angel and he puts to death the firstborn of Pharaoh. And in so doing, he puts to death one of the gods of Egypt and lays him down. Now catch this. The Hebrews do not lose their first. The blood of the lamb causes the death angel to pass over, so the firstborn is not slain. And then they commemorate it with a meal. And that meal is the same one that was eaten by Jesus when he said, "This is my blood poured out for you." And then there was the death of a god, and not some phony Egyptian one either. Well, you've made it through another one of my videos. You're to be commended for your dedication to your better understanding of the Bible through history. One of the things that I very much miss from my classroom environment when doing these videos is being able to answer questions. I would welcome your questions, history related if you don't mind, in the comments below. If you'd like to learn more about these sorts of things, I also have a book out called A Helpful Handbook of Hebrew History. The links to find it on Amazon or on WisePath Books are in the description below. God bless. For the glory of God.